installation, which we have seen the R12 installation. So once, just want to recollect, when you did the Oracle data 19C database installation, okay, um, have you performed that installation of database as a standalone this thing, or was it an no, no, I you last time you mentioned, right? You performed one installation of Oracle database 19C, correct? So when you perform the installation, um, after that, have you used that Oracle database 19C? Okay. So here, what I wanted to convey is, before once the database installation is done, how do you connect to the database? We will connect first. We will switch the or user to Oracle, and then what we will do? We'll source the env. Correct? Env. Correct. Now in Oracle applications, there are so many files which will get installed in several directories. Okay. So we are going to discuss that. Okay. On the application side, there are several directories. On the database side, there are so many, tens of directories and subdirectories gets created when you do the installation of Oracle application. So when you have to perform any task or application as a DBA, we will first go and source the environmental file. Okay. In 11i, it's a different env. In R12, it's a different. In 12.2, it's a different env. Okay. And yeah. So I 8 minute. Yeah. Once you are able to see, just let me know. Okay. Yes. So here, this is my another machine. Okay. Here I have installed Oracle eBusiness Suite 12.2. Okay. You're able to see, right? So before I take you to the theoretical part, I just wanted to show you something. Then we'll go back to the theoretical. Is it fine? Yeah. In 12.2, there is something called as ebsapps.env. Okay. And there is something called as run file system and patch file system. Okay. Just a second. I'm getting it. Oh, hello. CCT. You remember when we say, when you install the Oracle applications, when we also discuss that there are several products it will get installed in one go, right? Let's say if a customer has bought only Oracle financials, okay, still entire suite gets installed in the e-business suite, correct? Correct. Now, as a DBA, this is a very important directory. Inside that, there are so many configuration files. Okay. So, since first of all, you see R12, 12.2, there are features and add-ons. Okay. But more or less, the inside architecture will be similar. Here and there, the additional environment files, configuration files will get created. Okay. So Apple top may 11i R12 12.2 Apple top remains same because it contains all our products. Okay. Now you see, let's assume we have performed the installation of Oracle e-business suite. Fine. Okay. So when we perform the installation of Oracle applications, Once the installation is done, we should know what are the key configuration files and what are their locations. Okay. Yes, Babu, sorry, you're getting right. Yeah, yeah. Yes. See, in Oracle applications, context name. Okay. What do you mean by context name? SID underscore host name is nothing but our context name. Okay. Whenever they say it's a context name, means SID underscore host name, it will be, you should read it as SID underscore host name. In text file, SID underscore env. Okay. Now, when we are saying context name dot env means SID underscore host name dot env. Got it? Okay. See, we are trying to catch the terminology. What is Apple top, common top, Aura top, huh? Instance top, context name. Slowly, we are getting into the subject. Fine. Installation, installation, you can do it. Let us say, okay, let us recall what all we discussed. How do we do the installation? Okay. To begin the installation, we need to know what hardware we are going to do the installation. Okay, is it Windows, it is Linux, it is Solaris, is it HP? What kind of hardware the customer has procured? First, we will identify. Then, accordingly, we will download the software for that particular version. And while downloading, we will make sure that 64-bit machines, we are downloading 64-bit software. For 32-bit machines, we are downloading 32-bit software. Correct? How do you do the installation? First thing is we'll create two users, one user for database, one user for application. Okay. Then we'll assign DBA groups. Then we will go through etc hostname. We'll go an IP address hostname.si hostname.dominium.com, again hostname. And then there are additional parameters which we have to set on the OS level, which we have seen in our previous. We have the document on how to go about it. And once you know everything is ready, we will, from the stage start cd disk 1 rapid vis, we will start dot space dot slash, we will start the installation. And while doing the installation, we also know whether any localization needs to be selected or not. What is the base language is always English. And then you need to proceed. And you have to give the port numbers. 1521 is a default database port number. If the application port is given 3, means 1521 plus 3, which is 1524, it is going to be. Likewise, we've discussed everything. Okay. Next, finish install. Okay. Before the installation begins, it will tell us whether the port pool is free, the software is correct, the right permissions have been given. For D01, we will give for database. For D02, we'll give it for application. And you will proceed with the installation. Correct? Yes, Gordon. You have recalled everything. Now, once the installation is done, what are my key configuration files? How to connect, how to source the env, what are the different configuration files, env files which are important, and what are their locations? We are going to see. Then again, we will go back to our main this thing. Okay. Here, this is R12. Fine. Dot .cmd always means if this is for Windows. Dot .env means that is for Linux. Okay. Always, when you say Oracle Home in Oracle Home means it will be 10202. So inside that also, what they are trying to say is it has got env file inside context name.env file inside 10.202. Okay. Why it is important is whenever we try to apply patches on Oracle Home, Oracle server, then you have to go inside and you have to source this env, and then here you have to apply the patches. Okay. At that particular time, while applying the patches only, we will source the envs. Got it? That is the purpose of it. Context and name.env is there in the Apple top. Apps context name.env is also there in the Apple top. Okay. Context name.env is there in the Apple top. Apps context name.env is there in the Apple top. Okay, I came here. So there are two envs in my Apple top. Okay. SID underscore hostname.env means there is one env. Okay. Apps SID underscore hostname.env. Okay. So here what we can make out is EBS DB is the SID. Host name is APPS. Got it? So SID underscore hostname.env, apps SID underscore hostname.env. So you should be able to make out easily by looking at this file. Got it? Easy, easy to remember, right? So now in R12, what we will do is we will come inside this. We will come inside this application, and then we will source. We will say apps apps, like this we will source. Okay. Whereas in our 12.2, what we will do is the new additional thing is even though those files are there, since it has got it has got dual file system, FS1 and FS2 has been introduced in 12.2. We will, there is a new env which has been created and available from 12. So this is how you have to source. We have not discussed this, but still, when we discuss theoretically, you will get it. Okay. So now, when you say Apple top, may easily you can say when you say Apple top. Just a second. Apple top. Got it? This is a Apple. This is a shortcut, yeah. If you do echo dollar Apple top means it is showing some path. Okay. Echo dollar instance top means it is showing some location. Correct? Yes or no? So these are all variables. So all these things, what will happen is, will happen, I'll show you. I'll say where is the location. You go Apple top. Okay. Inside that, so many product tops are there. Correct? But as an admin, we will all most of the time we will go to AD top. Okay, AD folder. Okay, inside that AD folder, what is there? We'll discuss later. We will go to AD. We will go to FND. What is there inside that? Will tell you. And we will go to admin. So as a DBA, three directories are important for us. That one is AD, one is FND, one is admin. Okay. Now there are several files here, which once the installation is done, so env files, adovars.env is there. Okay. What is adovars.env? Adovars.env is there. Okay. It contains Java top directory location, OJRE top, OAH top HTML file location, libraries location, and other stuff. Okay, it is located in Apple top admin. Yes, we have found that file. Okay, and called from how can this be called? Means when you source the env context name dot env, when you call it na, it will internally know. Okay, from the ado vars dot env, all these things will come. Okay, internally it will call so many directories here. Okay, if you want to open ado adovars. Okay, okay, this file is automatically installed by Oracle applications. When you do the installation for the first time, you will automatically install this file. Got it? It is so much code is written in that. We will never open this, but if these default files gets missing, let's say if it gets deleted by mistake, then when you run the Apple top में जाके when you run the env, right, when you try to run the env, right, it will give us error. Internally it is see, when you can open and see also what it is trying to source, what it is trying to source. See, main custom file, some custom file it is trying, and then again inside that we have seen 1012 home mein there is an sid underscore context name dot env it is calling, and from Apple top admin it is calling another file. Okay, this env file itself it is calling another env files. Okay, now let us say when somebody is trying to open a file or run the first main env file, so what it will do is it will internally actually it will what it will do is it will it try to set these env files. Able to see, right? So that is the reason. So if something goes wrong also we have to go and check. You see, you are also in a real time environment. No one, let's say if it is a big client, even though everybody is a DBA, intentionally or unintentionally, people work in shifts. Okay, and nobody has some let us say full knowledge. Intentionally or unintentionally, people might make mistakes. So, what is troubleshooting? Our job is to with our basic knowledge only we will try to figure it out what has caused the problem. Step by step we will open, we will try to figure it out, and then we will fix the problem. That is nothing but troubleshooting only. So to do the troubleshooting our basic knowledge should be clear. Okay, now where is that? Yes, so now coming back to our env file. Okay, see context name dot env. Now we are going to discuss context name.env. This env file, it is trying to call so many environment variables. Okay, what this appl csf means, what this apple log means, what does apple out means. Okay, and what apple temp means, what is apple ptemp, instance top, nls top, what it is, what is a date format, what is nls character set. Okay, we'll see. You see, when you we know that there is something called as forms based interface, and we have something called as Java based forms. HTML based interface and Java based forms are there. Once the installation is done, the end users will not connect to the server physically. They will connect to everything via HTML page browser only. Correct? Yes or no? So once they connect the HTML page, they will submit a program. What program? We have discussed about Suresh traveling to US. So how the workflow will be, how it will go. To run that program, a concurrent request is running. Let us say, okay. So you wanted to check where from the backend where the concurrent request is going. So we have what we will do. Default location of the concurrent file is cd dollar App- Apple CSF. Apple log. See, now I came to some location, right? This is the request log. Okay. L, what is that? 7537083 dot request. Front end may you submit it, back end may it will come and sit here. So this is the request. We opened it. If anything goes, if suppose some request is giving trouble means here we will come and check the error, and then from here you will try to troubleshoot. There are two ways of doing it. Once you also connect as a system administrator, backend mein jaake you open it and open the form. But as a DBA, we should be more familiar with the locations where it is. Got it? So Apple CSF means identify the top level directory of a concurrent manager log and output files if any they are considered into the one directory for all the products. Okay. Application log one, it when you run the submit a concurrent request, it will do two things. Okay. It will uh, give one text request log file, and another is an output file. So out directory is one step behind. So here we have seen it is at log. So if you want to go to the out, you will go here because no output is generated. It is not. But in real time, all it will be filled with so many directories. Okay. So Apple CSF, Apple log, Apple out. Now you know what does Apple CSF means. What is app? See, it contains concurrent manager log locations, workflow manager log locations, concurrent request logs, concurrent log output, and Apple temp. These are so whenever a concurrent, whenever in the system there is a in Oracle application, these two are the directories. We know that there are so many customizations which will be carried out by our who is that Oracle technical consultants. They will develop custom programs. For that, they cannot use operating system level pay temporary location. They have to use. They will be using Apple temp location, Apple P temp location. You are able to see here Apple temp, Apple P temp. What Apple temp means? It identifies the directory of Oracle application temporary files. Apple ptemp means identifies the directory of a PLSQL procedure output files. Okay. So it pro PLSQL procedures may it will create a temporary something and a text file or whatever it is, and then it will process the program. एक minute यार, I'm getting call. Hello. Okay. Sorry यार, getting calls. Oh, actually, one of my relative got hospitalized here. So yesterday there was surgery, and we our family members are inquiring about the health. And instance top identifies the top level directory for this instance. Okay. NLS language, the language, territory, and character set installed in the database. National language set. We said like suppose you are trying to implement Oracle application in Dubai, then the Arabic speaking users will request us to also install. They wanted to see everything in their own language. Correct. Likewise, if you want to go and implement Oracle application in France, then you will also have to. We discussed, right? We will have to, after installing the English patch, you have to install the NLS patches. NLS patches is like France raha to France, Canada raha to Germany. Likewise, depending upon the customer, how big the customer is, likewise only you have to act. Okay. Next, date format. and numbers character set. National language support numeric operator. National language support date format. That is what it means. Okay. So now you know about Apple Top, Apple Common Top, Instance Top, NLS language, Apple Temp, Apple P Temp. So this always remember about Apple Temp, Apple P Temp. These are the key, very important, locations where you have to go and check whether what happens is once you do the cloning from production to non-production, right? What will happen is these directories clone is straightforward, but internally you have to go and map your Apple Temp and Apple T Temp values. If it is not right, what will happen is the concurrent programs and concurrent reports will fail. This will fail. Okay. Temporary files. Most temporary files are written to the location specified by the Apple temp environment settings. Temporary PLSQL output file is used in concurrent processing or written to a directory on database server specified by Apple ptemp. Some application utilities always use the operating system default temporary. This must have adequate free space. What will happen is always your Apple temp and Apple P temp will get filled and it will be very huge in size. So, what we will do is when we design our production box, we will say that for when we requesting the hardware, right? What will happen? We will not give the Apple temp, Apple P temp value. Usually, they will give it as USR temp. Okay, but let's say if the temp size is only let's say you have a OS where you did a Linux installation, and on the Linux you box you give your temporary files. For the temporary files you give it 50 GB. Okay, but it might grow till 100 GB. If you are one of the directories which where the Oracle application files are getting written, if that files keep on filling up, so to overcome that problem, what many real time what we will do is we will give a separate location, separate location on the server, and that on the external hard drive kind of you're getting, let's say, on the and then you will mount that location. So let's say if they wanted to increase the size from 50 GB to 200 GB also, it is possible, right? Yes or no? Let's say on the operating system, let's say the hard disk capacity is 320 GB, let us say, and out of 320 GB only 50 GB is for temp. But still, if your temporary files are getting filled up quickly, what will happen? It See, when the application is up and running, we don't know what internally it will do. So if it keeps on generating, if your temporary this thing is high, what we can do, we can always request a separate mount point. That mount point location, we can actually give it as our Apple temp and Apple P temp value. Then it will not fill up. If at all it fills up also, you can always go back and tell your storage team, the boss, on this particular mount point you increase it by 100 GB, 200 GB, likewise. Okay. ADO wars.env. This Apple inside Apple Top admin context name.env is specifies it contains Java directory location, JRE location, HTML file locations. It contains all the Java underscore top, OJRE top, OAH top. So if you want to OAD top, context sensitive documentation files, library LD library path, class path. Likewise, so many environment variables are written here, which is when that is why you will come and source this context name.env, right? Then ad context file dot text. You're writing na as we speak, Babu. Arey, is it documentary or what? You write it, yeah. At least see, I'll tell you. adowars.env if you write na, the rest of the information you can always get it from Google. But what is this file and what it contains, that knowledge you should have it, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what. We did not discuss much. You write it about adowars.env. It is ad oracle variables.env, I think. These are all nothing but variables only, yeah. Correct? Huh. fnd This is located inside fnd top. It sets the additional environment variable used by Oracle application object library. The default value within this file should not be modified. Okay. fndenv file. Okay. What it and then dev file. It is used to identify and describe third-party custom application with Oracle application. It is automatically called by fndenv. You see, what do you mean by customization? Okay. See, let's say as a business, I cannot rely on only Oracle applications. Fine. Sounds good, right? Let's say customer is using some other mm, some other product. So for that some other product which can be integrated with Oracle applications, these are the files wherein that information will be stored because it's a custom one. That is why it is called devenv file. Getting or not? You see, small small companies, they'll only have Oracle applications. Let's say they'll use Oracle application financials. That's it. If it is in big, huge enterprise, okay, huge enterprise like GE, General Electrics, they have got tens of businesses, different businesses. Okay, for all the businesses, they will be using different applications. Okay, what they will do is they need integration of their Oracle application with some other third party tools. Okay, let's say Sabrix. They're different ones. We depending upon the customer, the custom third party tools will be different. Okay, so for that information about the third party tools will be updated here in the Oracle application devenv.env file. Got it? Good. Next is Oracle application server control scripts. Okay, Oracle application startup and shutdown. If you want to do the startup and shutdown, what you will do, you will not go inside each directory. Directly AD admin scripts home. Here startup and shutdown scripts are there, and also autoconfig file is there. What is autoconfig? We have not discussed. You don't worry, but you just see, because when we discuss about autoconfig, you we will discuss each and every step what autoconfig is and all that. But main thing is, as a DBA, if I want to start up and shut down the Oracle application, what I will do is I will come to first thing is I will log in as an Apple MGR user, application manager user, which or any user which is used to do the installation of application services. Because I am doing anything on the application, you have to use that particular user. That is point number one. Second what I will do, I will go and source the env where the env is in Apple top. The envs are okay. sid underscore hostname.env, apps sid hostname.env. Okay, this we know. Once the environment file is sourced, now automatically my Oracle application knows where the admin top is, where the common top is, where is what. So now for us to do the startup and shutdown, what we will do, we will go to cd that variable name, environment variable name. admin script home directory, it will take me to the location. Okay, what are the other files which are there? Auto config files, and then startup shutdown files and other files. Okay, application control scripts. You see, start and shutdown files. Forms, we know about forms, the different versions of forms, and listeners. All these files are there. Now we are going to see that. Okay. Admin script home. Got it? You're able to see? I did not do anything. You remember we once we sourced the env apps blah 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 dot env, correct? We went to install apps. Then here there are envs, one env. I because this is 12.2. Here you will have apps, uh, ebs apps.env. Okay, one file we have to source, and we have to give run file system. Now I will know go to admin script home. Why I came to admin script home is I will have so many env files, sorry, shell scripts. Okay, one, these are individual scripts to start up and shut down. If you want to start up and shut down of your concurrent manager, this is the script ad cmctl. See, one thing you observe, everything starts with ad. Okay, because ad is a utility. Okay, everything you're able to see, it is ad. It begins. Correct. Now, this Oracle application is already up. I'll try to shut down sh adstp all. Okay. Apps password. Apps password is apps. And then it is asking for WebLogic password. WebLogic password is WELCOME1. This is a default password which we have not changed. So to shut down the Oracle application, this is how I will do. So individually, if you want to only bounce it, individual form server, report server, also you can do it. But main thing is this is the location and this is how you will do it. Got it? So minimum knowledge if you have now, you can run the show. That is for sure. You don't need to learn 100 things and then after 6 months you will go and touch the system. No. Directly, if you have this knowledge of env files, log locations, where which file is having which entries and what is the purpose of it, rest you can keep on studying here without this thing. Okay, so we discussed about environment files, modifying environment files. Oracle application release 12 automatically uses the autoconfig utility to manage configuration environment files. The files maintained by autoconfig have a great stating. The file is automatically generated by. You see what happens is, let's say our ebs apps.env, so many envs are there, right? Let us say so many text files are there. What will happen if that gets deleted? What will happen? It might get deleted, right? What will happen? There is a utility called autoconfig. Autoconfig automatically configuring configuration auto config in Oracle application. Once you run the auto config, it will regenerate all the missing files, whichever is required. Let's say your env file is deleted. You remember we said you don't have to worry. We will use three directories: ad and only ad directory, or admin directory, or fnd directory. So inside these three directories only, all our utility scripts are there. So which utility script is required to create a what? Or autoconfig, when you run autoconfig internally uses those so many scripts and performs recreates the env files or text files, whatever it is. Getting? Okay. We have not discussed much about autoconfig. It's a detailed session. But since we came to admin script home, we have seen that autoconfig file is sitting there. So we have discussed about it. Different languages, Turkish, France, African, this thing. See, you see here. For Arabic, in Oracle application, the short directory name will be AR. Inside that, if you see AR, it will be Arabic is installed. Okay. CZ, German, Danish, DK, European, Spanish, Greek, Latin America, French, Canadian French, and Croatian. Okay. So, for example, let's say you are into implementation. You are into Dubai. For Dubai users, you wanted to Oracle application is already installed. You got a job. Now you are here there to support. So same patch number will be there, but you will also have to download the Arabic version of the patch. Okay. Inside that, the sub 9 by looking at the AR, you can easily make out that it is Arabic. By CS means CZ. We don't know which language. German D, Danish DK, European means E, Greek means EL. Likewise, directories get created. Remember, I told you, after we install English version of the patch, NLS patches we will apply for the same patch. This is what it is. Getting right? Oracle application installation guide may you will get all these things here. Hungarian, Hebrew, Japanese, Korean, whatever it is. Okay. You remember while doing the installation of Oracle application, I said you will have to select UTF-8. Correct? You remember? We have to select something called as. So what exactly it means is Unicode multi-byte. UTF-8 means this is what we select. What happens is, let's say a customer is running their boxes on Solaris. Okay. And when they install, their DBA has installed Western European 8-bit something they have selected and they did the installation. Oracle application is working fine. Okay. But when you, now the customer has bought Exadata boxes. Okay. I'm just giving you a real-time example. What happens is, if you want to do a migration, then Oracle will say first ensure that you have a UTF-8 Unicode multi-byte character set installed. If it is European, then you have to migrate it to UTF-8. Then you will have to proceed further. That time, this knowledge will be required. Once you are doing cross-platform migrations, right? This is one of the key thing you will have to find out. Though it is a very small thing, but this, if you know, this is the first step one. If you ignore the step one, further steps automatically it will create a problem for the DBAs. Okay, so let's say suppose you are migrating from Solaris to Linux. That time also big Indian format, small Indian format, character set which is used to do the installation. This is key critical. This knowledge will be required that particular point in time. Okay. Okay, Sir Babu. Character set database tier. By default, Rapid install creates a new database with the US7 ASCII character set or Vision database with UTF-8. You can, if desired, choose another database character set when running Rapid install. Multi-byte character set may require more storage space than single byte character set. What is multi-byte character set? UTF-8. You see, multi-byte character set means UTF-8. Okay. Character set. By default, Oracle application create with US7 ASCII character for production instance or UTF-8 for vision demo. Rapid install recommends the Oracle application character set based on the language licensed. Character sets on all tiers must be compatible with each other to prevent loss. All application servers must have the same set of language installed. Okay, globalization. You remember while doing the installation, we saw globalization is a process of designing and deploying software that supports complex requirements of global enterprise. One way of globalization is to achieve via this is legal cultural practices of given location. We have discussed, right? If suppose you are installing Airtel is using Oracle applications. Okay, when they are using Oracle application in India, they need GST and all that in for business functionality, right? Likewise, India localization information for HRMS if they are using it, correct? Let's say likewise that sort of functionality it is talking about. We have already discussed about this. And dates and time, you can enter the dates in any format. Okay. Language support. Translation patches. We have already discussed. Let's say you have a, yeah, depending upon the location and depending upon the requirement, you will be downloading and installing NLS patches. Usually they'll ask if you have, prior. It is simple. Same way of applying patches is simple. The only thing is uh, you should know. Okay, I'll show you one document on how to apply it. You don't worry. While showing discussing about patching, na, I will show you one real time document step how we applied the NLS patches. Karke. You don't worry. Okay. Translation patches items, message files, navigations items, seeded forms, RDF help, blah blah blah. Okay. We have not discussed anything about subdirectories. We have only discussed about main directories. What subdirectories contains what files. But you remember one thing, Oracle applications are having HTML. It is built in what? It is built on Java-based programs, SQL, PLSQL, and HTML. So many files will be there. Okay. Because our navigation is either HTML interface or Java-based interface, correct? So if Java forms extension always will be FMB. Okay. Report reports. This thing is RDF. So our custom, Oracle technical guys, what they do is they develop custom forms and reports. Getting, let's say your Airtel bill, you implement Oracle application there, and for you the Airtel bill has to come out. So Oracle application Airtel bill, if it has to come out, means somebody has to put that Airtel logo and Airtel customization receipt in the Oracle application, load in the Oracle application, right? Correct. Where they will go and deploy their own code. Okay, in this, for if they've developed a forms, they will develop a FMB, and once it is executed, it will become FMX. That we are going to discuss. But I'm telling you, if it is a reports, they'll also say RDF. Okay. We are going to discuss in detail about that. Don't worry. ठीक है ना? So today we discussed more about key configuration files, environment files, instance top, NLS top, Apple temp, Apple ptemp, Apple CSF, Apple log, Apple out, Apple CP indicate whether the format of the concurrent manager files follow 8.0 file name conventions. Okay, I don't know. Apple DCP. Okay, you know, we in our very first discussion, we said, boss, like if depending upon the customer, we might have two application tiers, correct? Yes or no? So for two application tiers, the concurrent managers will be running on the both the nodes, node 1 and node 2. Okay. So why node 2? because let's say I am a inventory guy. Okay, my job is to find out what are the total number of iPhone pieces which are available in my state, in my inventory, in my sub inventory, like that. So to search that information, it will be huge na. So I keep on running that reports. So that kind of report, if it is running on the standard manager, what will happen? What will happen is it, because of that particular request, the other request gets slower. So when you the when that is the reason you will have another concurrent manager. So what customer this our technical guys do is they want us to create one more custom concurrent manager. So once you install one more custom, so these kind of custom long running jobs, you'll send it to the second node. Okay, you'll run it to the second node. So on first node, all seeded Oracle application forms should run. Request will run. All custom code should run from the second node. Okay, that time when you configure the parallel concurrent processing on the second node, you have to enable this parameter Apple DCP. At that particular time, you will configure this. Okay, that is very important parameter. Okay, FND name. Okay, by default, what will happen is um, when you launch the Oracle application homepage, internally there is something gateway. This is GWYUID, gateway user interface. UID is user, the main username and password that gives access to the internal single sign on. Guest Oracle is you will be the password. Okay, if the default password guest Oracle is changed, then you Oracle homepage will not come. So you have to go and check for GWYUID, gateway user ID, default password. If somebody changes, then at that particular time, if you revert that change only, your homepage will come. Okay. Okay. So we discussed about ADO variables.env, AD config. Okay, fndenv and devenv. Okay, these are the three env files and one ad config files we have discussed. Okay, we discussed about the character set, we discussed about languages, we discussed about translated language items, whatever it is. Product directories in details, we will see. Okay, you're able to see, right? This one. That is how we are. Once you do the installation, you will get so many directories. So if you go inside Apple Top, so many directories are there. So these directories, again, so many directories. What are these directories? Our as a DBA will go to, we will come here to just source the env, and we will make sure that we will go to either AD or FND or what admin. These three directories only will play around. So got it right. It is not SID underscore hostname.env, apps SID underscore hostname.env. Two env files will be there. AD we will discuss, FND we discussed. We are going to discuss what exactly comes under admin folder, FND folder, and AD folder. But on a very high level, we discussed about this. Fine. Okay. Shall we wind up? Why? Because if I take you to the next again, because so many new terminologies we have seen, na, you should not get confused. I don't have any problem because my shift is from 3 o'clock. But too many things, if I tell you, if you don't grasp it, then it will be a problem for you, right? Now, if you have the Oracle application installed, Vision instance installed on your these things, At least you will go and find out how to source the env. You go and check there. Or if you can share your any desk like that software you install. See, this is any desk. There is something called as any desk. I installed any disk and then another machine I connected. So likewise, if you share your screen, if you have anything, then I'll probably explain you what is what is what, so that you can play around. Okay, na? So for now, here we will stop here, and then we'll see further these things tomorrow. Or what is? Just a second. Arey, PPTs are confidential. I told you already. We are going to see the directory structure here tomorrow. What is what is what. So detail mein we will discuss this. Each directory. So then you will have a better. Okay? Yeah, you're welcome here. Bye.